A female patient is admitted to the, okay, this is an interesting one. A female patient is admitted to the hospital after suffering from a stroke. Okay, this is where you need to understand the question very carefully. She regularly takes digoxin tablets, 250 mcg, but she cannot swallow the tablets now, and the doctor wants to change the dose to elixir. So we are converting the digoxin tablet into digoxin elixir. Given that the digoxin tablet bioavailability is 0.65 and digoxin elixir is 0.8, that's the bioavailability. Calculate the equivalent dose of elixir and when the strength of the elixir is 50 mcg per milliliter. So here what we are basically doing, we are converting the tablet into elixir, okay? And the patient was taking one tablet of 250 mcg, and we want to find out that how many milliliters of elixir will provide the same digoxin. Does everybody understand that? The patient was taking 250 mcg digoxin tablet, and we want to find out how many milliliters of elixir will provide the same dose. So that's what we have to find out. Now, but the bioavailability here, the complicated thing is the bioavailability is different for elixir and for the tablet. So we have to take that into account also. So for the tablet, the bioavailability was 0.65. So that means whatever digoxin tablet the patient takes, only 65% of that is absorbed. So that means 65% of 250 mcg is absorbed, right? Because the bioavailability was 0.65. So how do I know what is 65% of 250 mcg? Okay. The way I calculate is it 65%, percent means per 100. So per 100 of becomes multiply 250, 162.5 mcg. So that's the active, let's call it an active drug. So when the patient takes 250 mcg of tablet, the only 162.5 mcg gets absorbed. Okay. Now, how do we calculate how many milliliters of elixir will be involved? The bioavailability of the elixir is what? 8. So that means when the patient takes 50 mcg, 80% of 50 mcg is what? So that means when this patient takes 1 milliliter of digoxin elixir, 40 mcg gets absorbed. So everybody with me? Yes. First of all, we calculated for the tablet, 65% of 250 mcg tablet provides 162 mcg. Coming to the elixir, 80% is the bioavailability. So because the strength is 50 mcg per mil, so that's why I took this here. So that means 80% of 50 mcg, i.e. 1 mil, will provide 40 mcg. So that means when the patient takes 1 milliliter of elixir, it provides 40 mcg. So very bit with me? Yes. But I need 162.5 mcg, right, from here. Okay? So agree with me? So how many milliliters of elixir I should give which should provide this? Because this is coming from the tablet. If 40 mcg for elixir comes from 1 milliliter, in order to give 162.5 mcg, I will give this. Very good, 4 milliliters. So in other words, 250 mcg tablet is equivalent to 4 milliliter of the elixir. So we just had to find out, because the two formulations have the different bioavailabilities here. So we have to find out what was the bioavailability of tablet So we know what is the bioavailability of tablets, so we find out what is the quantity provided by them. What is the amount of the drug which gets absorbed, and then work out the number of milliliters of elixir which will provide the same drug. Okay, the patient is using chloramphenicol eye drops, 0.25% weight by volume. Now, whenever I say weight by volume, that means grams per ml. For an eye infection, how much chloramphenicol in milligram is contained in one drop. So we know from before that 1 ml has 20 drops. So one drop will have how many milliliters? Because the patient is taking drop. We want to find out how many mils are in drops. So one drop will be equal to okay. We have been given the percentage here, so 0.25% weight by volume means 0.25 grams in 100 mils. Okay, that's what this means. Okay, or if you want to convert these grams into milligrams, that will be going from a bigger unit to a smaller unit. The decimal should move towards right by 3 places, everybody. So that will be 250 milligrams. Right? So this is the information I have got from this. So now once I know that 100 milliliters has 250 milligrams. Everybody with me? This information has come from this. So now when I know that 100 milliliter has 250 milligrams, what would be 0.05 milliliters? Because I want to find out how many milligrams will there be in one drop. And I know one drop is 0.05 milliliters. So in other words, I'm trying to find out how many milligrams will be in 0.05 milliliters, right? Which is one drop. Everybody understand that? So if 100 ml has 250 milligrams, 0.05 milliliters will have this. Milligrams. That's the answer. Okay, everybody. Okay, the question we did. Okay, guys. Okay, guys, we need to get started. Okay. Yusuf, why are you not sitting? Okay, the question we did before the break was the conversion of digoxin tablet into digoxin elixir. So this is a pretty much similar question, but it's a bit simple. So a junior doctor on a ward round asked you how to change the oral prednisolone tablet to oral dexamethasone. So here we're converting between two steroids from prednisolone to dexamethasone. So that's what we want to do, from prednisolone to dexa. And what's the conversion between the two steroids? According to the BNF, prednisolone 5 milligram is equal to 750 mcg of dexa. Now let's see what the patient is taking. So patient has been taking 250 milligram prednisolone tablets daily. What is the equivalent daily amount of dose of dexamethasone? So we just need to convert. We know 5 milligram of prednisolone is equal to 750 mcg of dexa, right? Sorry? Yes, this is mcg, sorry. 50 milligram of prednisolone, this is the conversion. 50 milligram of prednisolone is equal to 750 mcg of dexamethasone. The patient was taking 25 milligrams. So 25 milligrams of prednisolone will be equal to how many mcg of dexamethasone? So the way, as I said, divide this by this, so it's 750 divided by 5. times this, 3,750 mcg. But the question asks, what is the daily equivalent amount of dexamethasone in milligrams? So we need to convert 3,750 mcg into milligrams. So again, we are going from a smaller unit to a bigger unit. The decimal move towards left. Okay, 3 places. So 1, 2, 3. So it would be 3.75 milligrams. So when you understand that? Okay, something came to my mind. During the break, somebody asked me a question that whether you'll be allowed to use calculator in SPLE. SPLE is a computer-based exam. It's not a paper-based exam. So you go into the Saudi Commission office and you take the exam on computer. You will not be allowed to take anything in, any personal thing, including calculator or any watches or any mobile phones. You will keep it outside. If you need a calculator, it will be on the screen, on the computer screen. So there will be a little icon and you just click on that and the calculator will pop up. So you can use that on-screen calculator. Okay, last question in dose calculation. Child receives a very important question. I think this question was in the mock or the practice SPLE exam which we had in the college. So those who took the practice SPLE exam in the college, we had this question in that exam. So a child receives 3/4 of a tablespoonful, which is 25% of the adult dose. How many tablespoonfuls does an adult receive as one dose? So the child is receiving 3/4 of the tablespoonful. So have a look at this first. So let's work this out first. 3/4 of 1 tablespoonful is how many milliliters? 15. Everybody, not 5. Table is big, so 15, not 5. 15. So 3/4 of 15 milliliters is 3/4 multiplied by 15. 11.25. So the child is receiving 11.25 mils. It's this. Now the question further says that this 11.25 mil is 25% of the adult dose. So let's write it down. 11.25 mils is 25% of X. Say X is the adult dose. Okay? So let's calculate this. 11.25 mils is equal to 25% of X. Right? And now solve this for X. $45 mils. 45 mils, but the question is how many tablespoonfuls does an adult do? So 45 mils is how many tablespoonfuls? 3 tablespoonfuls. Again, okay, look at the question first. The question is asking that, saying that 3/4, the child is receiving 3/4 of the tablespoonful. So let's calculate that first. What is 3/4 of the tablespoonful? 3/4 times, we know that tablespoonful is 15 milliliters. So 3/4 multiplied by 15 is 11.25. That means the child is receiving 11.25. This is what it means. So everybody with me? And now the question further says that this is 25% of the adult dose. So let's write that down. 11.25 mil, which the child is receiving, is 11.25%. 11.25 mils is 25% of X. X is the adult dose. So just solve that. 11.25 is equal to 25%, 25 divided by 100 times x. When I write something like this, anything like this in a statement, remember that is will become is equal to and of will become multiply. Okay, so I've written 11.25 mil is 25% of x. So 11.25 mil is equal to 25 divided by 100 times x, and then solve this equation for x.